Hi and welcome back to the shed. I'm JOEBLEEPS and in this video I'll be showing you my latest little haul from ZedLabz, my favorite online purveyor of all things modding. They sell some awesome stuff. I've got an order that I am excited about, and then when I was looking at it I was thinking, is this really anything that other people might genuinely find exciting? I mean, Joe, these are not the latest flashy shells and screens. These are positively mundane to the untrained eye, but little things like this bring me a lot of excitement when they arrive on my doorstep, and I just wanted to share it with you. And in a week where I've had a lot going on, it's been very busy. Getting a new delivery like this inspires me to get on with a whole load of these projects in my shed that I can share with you guys. So that can only be a good thing, right? Okay, in the interest of transparency, I really do shop a lot at ZedLabz and I really do buy all this stuff. It's not like it's been sent to me for testing or anything like that. It's not like the video is sponsored by them, but I am lucky enough to have been sorted out with an affiliate link for ZedLabz. So if you want to buy any of the stuff that I've got in my videos, then you can use the link that I've left in the description. You can even use the code JOEBLEEPS, which will get you some money off your order as well. And that will help me out in terms of the channel, because every time you buy anything using that link, I'll get a little bit that I can put towards making more videos and getting more of these bits and pieces for upcoming projects that I can share with you guys. So it's all good for everyone. What did I buy? Let's take a look. What I have here is a haul of the tiny, seemingly insignificant things that often bring me joy when I go trawling through the ZedLabz website and looking for different things I need to buy for upcoming projects. Rarely will it be the case that I just buy the one thing that I need. Every time I make an order, I always use it as an opportunity to get those little bits and pieces. And in fact, I tend to keep a list on my phone of bits and pieces that I need so that when I do put an order through, I remember to get all the other stuff that I want for other projects. Sometimes they'll get used straight away. Sometimes they'll get put away for another time. But this is my latest, well, I call it a haul, but it's actually a tiny amount of stuff that is going to make a significant amount of difference. Half of what I've got here, a little more than half actually, is in the new style plastic free packaging. Some of it is clearly stuff that's been in stock for a while and is in their older, less sustainable plastic packaging. So this is definitely a move in the right direction. So let's just take a little look through at what I've got first of all. This here seems not particularly exciting, but to me this was. You see, I've got a Game Boy Advance motherboard that is in very good condition, but I've not been able to use it because of this component here as kind of broken away from the surface, causing the whole thing to not function properly. I did loads of research online trying to find what this component was or what it was called. I did like a reverse Google image search and all sorts and eventually found out information. It was very hard to actually source one of these components. However, as is the case with a lot of components like this, if you go into the Game Boy Advance section on the ZedLabz website, they actually stock replacement parts of this. The actual name of this part is a replacement L1 power inductor for Nintendo Game Boy Advance. So as I say, doesn't seem particularly exciting, but in terms of significant impact it'll have on an upcoming project, excellent. In here I have some pink silicon membranes for Game Boy Advance SP. This is for a specific upcoming project. This is a video that's hopefully dropping in the next couple of weeks and a project I am in the middle of at the moment that I am very excited about. This is a part designed by my friend Joseph Tompkins, and it is a open SP which allows you to use the back half of a Game Boy Advance SP to create a slab type console. I've got these pink buttons and I thought that having the pink membranes behind it would look awesome. In the same breath as that, you might well notice that the speaker looks a little mundane there. So one of the other things that I've got in this pile here is a replacement internal speaker for the Game Boy Advance SP, and it's made by Funny Playing. Comes in this cool little case, and as you can see, if I can manage to pop it open, not only is it clear plastic, but it's got this kind of pinky red circle in there. I think that this is made for that project. Look at that. That is going to look so cool with those buttons. So again, seemingly insignificant on its own, but for an upcoming project, it's going to be great. This, by the way, I'm really, really excited about. So stay tuned for that video. What else have we got? I got a clicky trigger mod for Nintendo Game Boy Advance. Another part that again doesn't appear to be particularly exciting, some tiny little tactile buttons, but they're slightly more clicky than the ones that are in the original Game Boy Advance. I had some issues with buttons in a Game Boy Advance recently and had to salvage some from a Nintendo DS. So while I was making my order, I bought these just in the interim to have as a standby if I ever needed to do any repairs for shoulder buttons on a Game Boy Advance again. I'd have something cool and different to use. Last one from this order is a headphone jack. Now, when I started on this project, I got the shell which has a space for a headphone jack, which I think is going to be really awesome. Like, I like making music on my Game Boys, and the SP didn't traditionally have a headphone socket, so having the space within the shell to fit a headphone socket is awesome. But what I found was there is very, very little space to fit one in there. What I was planning to use is one of this type of socket, which I thought would fit. It's what I used when I fitted one inside the Game Boy Advance SP before, but that was in the top half behind the IPS screen. But this, unfortunately, is a bit too big. So I've been advised that this part here is the one that's recommended for Zypher's SP slab. Zypher, again, another friend of mine who is a genius. I am surrounded by these genius people, and I'm just an idiot in his shed. But yeah, this is one that's recommended for Zypher's slab, and I've been told should be the right size for Joseph's Open SP design. So we shall see. But again, another tiny bit, which to many people wouldn't seem like much, but these little, like all these little components, they are gateways to much more satisfying, much more exciting, much more, what's the word I'm looking for, engaging projects, I suppose. So yeah, these collections of tiny little things that bring me great joy. So that's a little insight into what I would see as a really exciting haul. There's no fancy IPS screens. There's no multicolour shells with fancy UV printing. It's the tiny bits and pieces that get me excited. I don't know if you guys agree with me on that, but you've seen the things I build. You know that these little things can make significant difference. Now, let's just put this exciting little stack to one side. What I have here is my ZedLabz rainy day box, and in here is a whole load of other bits and pieces that I have picked up over months, years even, maybe, I don't know. We'll have a quick look through what I've got in here. Some stuff I couldn't even remember what it was, and I had to message ZedLabz and say, you know, I can't remember what this is for, what am I putting it in, because sometimes I'll buy a whole load of stuff at one time and then get distracted with other things. You know, I'm frequently distracted by stuff. Okay, so these two are like kind of voltage regulator, power cleaner things for the Game Boy Color and the Game Boy Pocket. I originally put this order together because I was getting super frustrated with the Game Boy Pocket I had that was just draining the battery. So this should, in theory, fix up the problem, but I have yet to actually install it. And while they had them in stock, I got the Game Boy Color one as well because, you know, with a lot of IPS screens and using a flash card and things like that can have power drain. So these sort of things are worth actually having to hand. What else have we got in here? This is for a Game Boy Advance SP. It's a power cleaner. So again, it's one of these things that just kind of, if you're having issues with excessive noise or, you know, power fluctuations and things, these sort of things hopefully will sort out the situation. But again, this is something I have yet to install, but it's I can't resist the things that are designed by Helder. If you've never seen Helder's designs before, they're like clever little tiny ribbon PCBs that go in and fix a multitude of issues, making retro tech much more modern. It's really, really clever stuff and definitely worth checking out. What else do we have? More of Helder's ribbons and things. So this is a flex amp for going in a Game Boy Advance SP, and that will sort out the sound to an extent. It'll amplify the speaker, and it will also clean the sound to an extent. Possibly even something I could incorporate into this project. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. But that's something I got a while ago and have yet to find just the right project for it. This is similar, but this one, unfortunately, it's facing the wrong way in the packet, and I'm not going to open the packet up just now. But this is a flex amp for the Nintendo DS Lite, which can be used as a DS Lite, or it can be used, and it's actually designed for use with when you're making a Game Boy Macro, because a lot of the time with the Game Boy Macro you end up going to just a single speaker, so having an amplifier to boost that power makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I'm still waiting for the right project for that. When I did my recent macro builds, speaking of which, I've got 2 other macro faceplates in here, which is like the one I built recently. I think I've got what have we got here? I think it's a purple and a clear. I've not done a clear one yet. Yeah, frosted clear and frosted clear atomic purple. So I'll look forward to those when I next get my hands on a broken Nintendo DS Lite. And the thing is, when I did that, these kits come with a little speaker as well, as you will have seen in my other video, and I wanted to see what that speaker was like on its own. So maybe if I build another one, I'll put the flex amp in there and I'll compare it and see the difference. Oh, this is something else I want to do a video about at some point. Now, I bought 2 of these. These are Ben Ven's flash carts for the Game Boy and Game Boy Color, and I was really excited about getting these set up. I was going to get one set up with LSDJ for making music and one with a bunch of Game Boy games, and then, well, then this thing came along, my Mio Mini, and I have been obsessed with playing Game Boy games on this. So those cartridges have just been popped to one side for now, but I am looking forward to trying those out. What else have we got? I have a glass screen cover for a Game Boy Advance. I've got loads of these sort of capacitor kits. They're really handy to have nearby if you get an old console that isn't working at all. First thing to do with these, particularly like from the Game Boy family, first thing to do is replace a lot of those capacitors. So I've got a full set for a Game Boy Advance here. I've got one that is for the Game Boy Color here. They're slightly smaller ones, obviously. I think that's another Game Boy Color one, because I had a Game Boy Colors. Like, if you get one that doesn't work, that is the first fix to try, and it's just handy to have those instead of needing to order them and slow down the progress. Down at the bottom is, I feel particularly guilty for this because Natalie the Nerd is absolutely awesome, and I bought this, one of her first range of Game Boy Color LED strips, so that just solders straight to the motherboard of a Game Boy Color and all lights up around the buttons. How cool is that? And I even got some like dark clear buttons for going in a Game Boy Color. I still have no idea why I haven't installed those. I think I ended up making like a DMG style Game Boy Color at the time, so these buttons didn't quite work with it, but I'm still super excited about installing these in the right Game Boy at some point. And then we reached the bottom of my box. But as a hobbyist, I really like having stuff like this handy, because every now, like I say, I call it my rainy day box. Every now and again, like I'm trying to make new content every week at the moment, and sometimes I'll be a little bit stuck for ideas, and if with a box like this, I'll open it up, I'll rummage through, I'll think, whoa, why haven't I used that before? And I'll have a dig around, see if I've got something like, you know, an unloved PCB or something like that that needs a bit of a repair, and that sort of kickstarts a new project for me. So having things like this, you know, you might call me a hoarder who's obsessed with trawling through websites of exciting bits and pieces and buying them and without actually using them, which is kind of true to an extent. But to me, like I say, these tiny things, they bring me a lot of joy, and it's nice to have them ready to inspire me and, you know, push me forward with, you know, trying out new things. I don't know. Do you agree? Do I need to see someone? Have I got a problem? I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments with that anyway. I've also got another box here which has got just a few other bits largely dedicated to this particular project. So for the back of it, I don't actually plan to use a battered black shell. I do actually have a clear, I think this is one of the Funny Playing mirror clear shells, which I'm going to be using the back of, and then I'll use the front for something else. I've got a battery, which is another Helder bit of tech. So I've got a battery for going in there. What have we got here? Oh, that was just a pack for my buttons. That is my IPS screen that's going to go in there. This is the alternative set of buttons. I'm still undecided. What do you think? I've got like these kind of pastel pink solid color buttons, and I've got these much darker but translucent buttons. I guess I'll try it out with my silicon membranes and see what I think. And at the bottom of the box, I've just got various batteries and things, and my my donor SP. Don't panic about the Zelda one. It's a repro shell that I'll just pop to one side for something else another time. I just couldn't find a Game Boy Advance SP motherboard. Yes, I know I've got one in here, but that doesn't work for various reasons. Okay, so this is what my mighty haul boils down to. My headphone jack, speaker, couple of buttons, Game Boy Advance power inductor, and some silicon pads. It really doesn't take much to get me excited, does it? So yeah, who knew some buttons and bits and speakers could bring so much delight to an old man? But there we go. I don't know, it has been a funny week. It's been a busy week, a difficult week. I've been super hectic with work and trying to find time to get out here and do some little projects, or even kind of engage with thinking about what I'm going to do for a video this week. And I just thought I'd just talk to you guys, show you some of the stuff that I've got ready for some upcoming projects, so you get a little bit context of where we're heading, and try and get a bit more feedback as well. You know, are these the kind of videos that you like, where I'm just rambling on about things, or should we go with more of my kind of pre-planned tutorials and things? As far as I'm concerned, I'll just keep going with a mix. It's always my approach to just try and make something that I'm enthusiastic about, because the whole point of this channel is I want to make the kind of videos that I want to see. So anything that I'm enthusiastic about, I will always try and share with you guys, and I do hope you appreciate that. One difference you might notice on this video is the sound. Right from the beginning, I've always run this channel on a bit of a shoestring budget and try and find cheap or cost-effective ways of putting my videos together. But one thing that I've struggled with is sound. So I have treated myself on Prime Day recently to this thing here, a decent microphone. I have tried buying some cheaper microphones in the past, tested them out on videos, and to be honest, I mean, I film all this stuff on my Google Pixel 6a. Like, it's a budget phone that does pretty decent videos with decent lighting setups and things like that. And surprisingly, the sound from the built-in microphone has always been pretty good, to the extent that I've bought other microphones and tried them, and there was a level of hiss that I wasn't particularly happy with. And I figured if I want to get decent sound, I'm going to have to spend a little bit more. So I have treated myself to this microphone, but I hope it makes my videos a little nicer on the ear. I don't know. We'll see what the feedback is like. Does it sound better? Is it noticeable? Do I need to tweak some settings that I'm unaware of, because I'm a complete noob when it comes to these sorts of things? What appealed to me about this one is it's a USB microphone, and it comes with a big long USB-C cable. So I basically plug it into the mic, plug it into my phone, and record. It's got lag-free technology, so basically I've got my headphones on here so I can monitor what I'm saying, but I am hearing it in real time, and it is phenomenal. So it makes it much easier for me to record and know what it's going to sound like on the video, and not worry about the sound that's outside of the shed with birds tweeting and dogs barking and music playing and whatever else, which often kind of distracts me a little when I'm filming. Whereas like this, it's made it much easier for me to just focus on the video that I'm making. I'm rambling on about something completely different here, I know, but hopefully I'll be using this in all my upcoming videos. So I am genuinely interested to hear a bit of feedback about what you think in terms of that. And, you know, I will continue to keep trying to improve the channel, but most of the time my investments are in this stuff. It's less in the tech. I'm less about making my channel flashy. It's more about the projects. It's more about the content. But at the same time, I do want to make them enjoyable to watch, and it makes them, you know, make the production values something that people will relax and enjoy watching instead of struggling through to get to see the content. So it's about trying to get that balance right. But anyway, I digress. Hopefully it sounded good and looked all right. And yeah, that's it. I'll have a decent video for you coming up next time. I have got a lot of nice little projects on the go. I cannot wait to share that Open SP project with you. And just as a quick reminder, because I wrapped up filming a whole video about the ZedLabz stuff and forgot to mention my link, you can use my affiliate links in the description to buy stuff from ZedLabz. They sell awesome stuff. Use the code JOEBLEEPS to get yourself some money off. And yeah, let me know how you get on with the stuff you buy. So that's it for now. This is JOEBLEEPS signing off from the shed. If you want to keep watching me, there will be more content as usual popping up here. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.